last minute of your life, you want to be something more than a goddamn savage! Annunziare l'indagine. Prego, sono Donatus. You like this? Oh, you like being food for the immortal?
What is happening, savages? You are listening to Immortal Coil, your future minister of whiskey mysticism. Revolution is my name. It is Wednesday, the 29th of December, 2021, 6:48 p.m. West Coast, Seattle. Fuck this van. And it is time to get savage. Welcome, one and all, whether you are listening to us live or listening us in the replay. We want to welcome you in. We want to give you a place to be. I am but a humble immortal from a savage land, driven by my own sense of self-preservation to come out and get savage about what they are trying to pull over onto you. The people. Thank you, Bane. Thank you, Bane. I'd like you to grab whatever it is you are imbibing, lift it high, and join me in the savage salute. Here is to us what is like us, not a goddamn thing. Tastes like liquid truth. We have a saying around here, the savage broadcast, when the spin gets real, the truth becomes savage. And towards that aim, we want to remind you that the Savage Show is not for children. Put those little darlings to bed, along with any little darlings that might be grown up and unable to take it, to take the truth, to take the savage within you. This channel does contain strong language, sensitive subject matter, images, and content intended for a mature 18 years or older audience. Viewer discretion is advised. This video also contains copywritten content. However, under the Fair Use Act, Section 504(c)(2), Title 17 of the United States Code, this content is presented for the purposes of education and entertainment through the use of parody, satire, critique, analysis, and/or social commentary by means of subjective opinion. We want you to know that everybody affiliated with this show and that you might hear from in this broadcast is not a doctor and is not a lawyer. So you should not consider their advice legal or medical in its dispensary. It is advisable that you take it under advisement. However, should you have any legal or medical questions, go ahead and consult actual professionals and not internet assholes. Because assholes we are. Savages we are. Immortals we are. Absolutely. We have got a killer broadcast for you. If you paid attention to the fucking banner ad that I made for tonight's show, you will see Darth Vader pointing a finger of scorn directly at Boba Fett for a chiding that I do believe he does deserve. Now, I know we're only one episode in. However, I do have a list of things, some things that I thought I didn't appreciate. So we will be going over that in due time. We're going to hear some Game of Thrones shit. We're going to hear from some Ghostbusters shit. And we're actually going to hear from some old news. Some old news that I think is some good news that we actually need to sort of take a look into in order to get this show on the road. This is something that was a really big deal when it first started, but for some reason this is getting quietly swept under the rug. And I tell you, my friends, not on my fucking shift. No. This is Kim Fox. Now, you'd be saying, who the fuck is Kim Fox? Does she have an OnlyFans? Something like that? No. Kim Fox is the state attorney for Michigan, who in the Jussie Smollett case, you remember Jussie Smollett? He's a special kind of asshole. She was one of the first people, along with like the Obamas and all those motherfuckers, who were like, this is outrageous. If somebody could put a noose around this guy's neck and beat him up and, call him a faggot and all this kind of stuff, then they deserve to die, and holy shit. And then it turns out that Jussie Smollett was lying, and that Kim Fox went out of her way to help batten down the hatches in the Smollett domicile, which is despicable. This is an actual case of a public official abusing her office. Now, since his guilty verdict, she has been under fire. And they're saying, well, you got all this fucking goods on him and all that stuff. And she's running around going, well, I can't really say anything until after his sentencing. I'm not going to dwell on this too long, just long enough to point out the hypocrisy. It says Chicago. And who the fuck wrote this? This is from Chicago 32, which is probably their local sentence. This is by Mike Flannery, published December 23rd, just in time for Christmas. Cook County State's Attorney Kim Fox has publicly answered no questions since the release of a special prosecutor's report in the Jussie Smollett case. But it sounds like that is about to change. The report sharply criticized Fox's handling of the Smollett case. Now she's planning a vigorous and public response in the new year. This is probably what the Orville would call the apology tour. If you have not seen the Orville, unfuck yourself. It is some of the best science fiction currently on TV for consumption. It's better Star Trek than Star Trek, because Star Trek forgot how to Star Trek. Sources tell Fox 32 that Fox will talk about this controversial case after Smollett's sentencing, expected some time before spring arrives. Well, that's plenty of time to wiggle around and figure out what the fuck you want to sound like a parasite. Have time to go underground and wait out the frost. Winter's coming, they say. Well, it's coming later in this broadcast, I'll tell you that. In the meantime, she is facing fire. Fire from strong critics. Critics even. Outraged by her actions. She's lying to us, said former appeals court judge Sheila O'Brien, who has called on Fox to resign. I second that motion. O'Brien filed a petition that caused Dan Webb being appointed special prosecutor. He eventually persuaded a jury to convict Smollett on 5. Not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, but 5 felony charges. O'Brien said she only got involved when Fox moved to seal key records about the case. What do you have to hide there, Miss Fox? So that the public might never read them. Never. Because you know what? This was the granddaddy of all virtue signaling. Of all virtue signaling. This is literally the case of a man making up and staging his own hate crime against himself because he feared that he was not relevant enough in the mainstream and that threats to his well-being were not being taken seriously enough by the mainstream. And this is despicable because what we have with the inclusion of people like Kim Fox trying to jump on a bandwagon that was ill-formed and quite non-existent is that she has made herself complicit in this man's crime. She should step down. She should be removed from office. If she is not good enough to step down on her own, she should be made to be removed from office. Quote from O'Brien. So that indicated to me that she is trying to hide something. When a public official, particularly your state's attorney, wants to seal a file, red flags should go off in all of our heads. Sources close to Fox indicate she'll offer a detailed response to Webb's 60-page report on her handling of the Smollett case. Webb found Fox violated legal ethics and misled the public. Webb said he sent a copy of his report to Illinois Attorney Registration and Disciplinary Commission, which has the power to suspend Fox's law license. In an editorial, the Chicago Sun-Times declared, "It's now or never," for Fox to respond. Sources close to the state's attorney say she does plan to answer every question we have about the Smollett case and her handling of it, but only after the former Empire actor has been sentenced in Cook County Circuit Court, which is all very well and fine, probably fucky. Jussie Smollett's probably gonna only have to serve community fucking service, which is bullshit. This is a guy who cried wolf, said some mean white Trump supporters beat him up and hung a noose around his neck and called him names because he's gay, and perpetrated this big fraud, made an ass out of himself publicly, had public officials complicit in it, all because these people needed a virtue to signal. And they were so willing to jump on a bandwagon that they failed to do their research ahead of time. This is what's wrong with our society. In the court of public opinion, people are very often found innocent. I think I need to find myself innocent. Might be able to read the news easier. People are found guilty before they are proven innocent, which is a very big no-no. If you remember your Star Trek The Next Generation, that's what they did in the insane courts of post-atomic World War III. Let us not go down those roads, shall we? We got Random Brad in the chat saying he's listening in while working. Gotta fucking earn that Australian dollar. Hope you're keeping your head above the water, my good friend, my loyal savage. Well, I got another sort of fluff piece before we get into the big events, the big main events here. I found this kind of interesting, and I was wondering why nobody really hit this thing up. And no, it's not this Asian Spanish guy with big tits. No, it's this fact that in Spider-Man No Way Home, J. Jonah Jameson in this Tom Holland universe was a clear caricature of Alex Jones. Alex Jones, famous for penetrating Bohemian Grove and filming and distributing the first public images of their cremation of care ceremony. Bohemian Grove being a rich man's and politicians' playground, or like a summer camp, really. They go out there, they go behind closed doors or, behind fenced in areas, right? And they go and they play Illuminati together. What really happened for years, for decades, was unknown. Alex Jones goes in and penetrates it, takes imagery, makes it public, and then publishes the list of the politicians, businessmen, men of affluence, because it is men. It's Bohemian Grove. It's let no weaving fucking spiders be him. Okay. He gets famous for that. Now, I'll tell you, Alex Jones is very eccentric. He does have a particular method about how he wants to dispense his news, and that's fine. That is fine. Honestly, you do have to dress up your own personality in order to be compelling and entertaining. Would I make some of the same exact decisions he made broadcasting? Probably not. But he got his name out there, and for a long, long time, he was the number one name in alternative media. I got friends that make fun of him, but it's out of jest, and it's out of a little bit of love. A little bit of love. But in a very controversial move, see, Alex Jones had one of the most subscribed to channels on YouTube back in the day, but in a very controversial move with no fanfare, with no announcement, YouTube struck down his channel. Millions of subscribers. I'm talking millions of people. And his voice was silenced, censored. Now, YouTube is very famous for doing that. Channels like mine do not get shopped around, and I only have like 340 something odd subscribers. Savages, one and all. I will not disparage that number because I know that every single one of them came to me willingly and value what I have to say. But because of YouTube business practices, the little guys don't always get out, and the big guys have to play by their rules. It wasn't too long ago that YouTube actually struck down the ability to see the like to dislike ratio because it was destroying traditional media and it was destroying political speeches. If you could see the actual numbers, you would know, you would have a way to perceive outside of the fucking illusion. Outside of the fucking illusion. Alex Jones is made to look like a quack, like a crazy man. But in this Men's Health article by Josh St. Clair, December 16th, 2021, it says J.K. Simmons swears his new J. Jonah Jameson from Spider-Man No Way Home isn't based on Alex Jones. And then the comical second byline says, similarities to any persons living or dead is entirely coincidental. J.K. Simmons is trying not to go on his old curmudgeon rant. He's reflecting on youth and expectation, how younger generations desire instant recognition, how it took Simmons a long time to land something like Marvel's J. Jonah Jameson, and how it was all worth it anyway. J.K. Simmons? He was like a decent actor that was like in a bunch of shit. He's making it sound like he had to go through like a lengthy audition process, and dare I say it, a black couch like interview, like a casting couch. Did J.K. Simmons have to go on the casting couch to get the role? Did Doc Ock have to did he have to take so many inches of Doc Ock? Did he have to take 8 inches of Doc Ock to land the role? These are things we can only speculate about. Quote, if you're getting into acting because you want to be rich and famous and get a lot of attention, then I don't have much to say to you, because the joy that I get from the work still even though I am, by all reasonable expectations, all of the above. The joy in the work isn't, look at me, or how much money did I make this year? The joy is doing the work. And I think it's easy for a lot of young actors of every generation to lose sight of that and get stars in their eyes. Actually, that's a fairly solid statement. Good job, J.K. Simmons. Simmons takes a beat, catching himself, really, really going out on a cranky old guy rant, he says, and he grins. Well, fuck, dude, that's why you get hired, because you look like this. You know, I kind of want to start like a series of memes where it's Clint Eastwood making his Gran Torino face and, just having it be about like how he doesn't understand kids these days. Because I swear to God, I'm getting to be about that. And I'm not even old. I'm not even really middle-aged, technically. Simmons has probably best channeled the old curmudgeon rant into Jameson, a character he's played since 2002's Spider-Man. Very famous meme of J.K. Simmons turning in his chair and laughing when Peter Parker asked to be paid. And he goes, "Oh, you're serious?" Yeah, it's crazy. This month, he'll reprise the role for the 5th time in Spider-Man No Way Home, joining other actors like Alfred Molina, who also made a leap from one franchise to another. In an interview with Men's Health, Simmons gave us a spoiler-free breakdown. This is shitty writing. Who the fuck? What the fuck, menshealth.com? What the fuck indeed. In an interview with Men's Health, Simmons gave a spoiler-free breakdown of the character as he could. Gave us as spoiler-free a breakdown of the character as he could. That is an awkward sentence. And I tell you what, he's trying to talk in the modern vernacular, but it is failing miserably. Including where he takes his curmudgeon inspiration and what he thinks of JJJ now, almost 20 years later. Okay. Now, I'm not going to go through this whole thing, but the first couple of questions here specifically address Alex Jones. Men's Health. J. Jonah Jameson has always been something of a news parody. In the Sam Raimi movies, he is the fast-talking 1940s newspaperman. He's since been updated as a controversial talk show host. Is he parodying anyone in particular now? It's hard not to see Bill O'Reilly or Alex Jones. Did you refer to anything outside the comic for research here? J.K. Simmons responds, to me, it's the same guy, but with less hair and in a different medium. Always a blowhard. He was always somebody who refused to listen to anything other than his own point of view. And, if people want to equate that with their specific talking head in the media somewhere that they feel I'm channeling, well, feel free to do that. But all I'm doing is playing the same guy from the comic books who's been brought forward into the 21st century. And so, yeah, you're not running a print newspaper anymore because that's not how most people are digesting their news anymore. You got to be on screen and you got to be controversial, ranting about whatever it is you're ranting about. So, no coincidence. Similarities to any person's living or dead is entirely coincidental. So you weren't watching InfoWars while taking notes. And he's laughing. He says, I'm not watching anything other than sports and whatever movie my wife and daughter want to watch. Okay. So there we go. Men's Health putting it out there that there was a striking similarity between J.K. Simmons' portrayal of J. Jonah Jameson and Alex Jones. Now, Simmons denies it here. However, I think the salient point that we got from this Men's Health article was the fact that it put Alex Jones's name and InfoWars' name out there into the mainstream once again. You get channels like fucking Friday Night Tights and all that who are able to have Alex Jones come on and bullshit with the underground. but beyond YouTube channels like that and like this, you'd be far pressed to see Alex Jones called anything else besides a crackpot in modern media, when that just isn't the case. So, at best, we have a who the fuck is Alex Jones? Let me jump on Google. And at worst, we just have a laughing kind of like shrug off of that. But honestly, if I'm going to talk, I'm going to say that indeed I saw a hell of a lot of Alex Jones. That's exactly who I thought of the minute that I saw J. Jonah Jameson in Spider-Man No Way Home. We got the rookie critic saying savagery. What's up, Rook? Good to see you, man. Just talking some Spider-Man. So, allow me to wet my whistle. I saw some funny shit. Some funny shit on the interwebs. Some stuff that I wanted to I keep on thinking like, oh, that would make a good video, or like, I'll just save that and wait for the fucking Savage show to come back on. Because I guess I need to practice my fucking rants. Take a shot from the cups. Yeah. Okay, so just so you know, the rookie critic, he sent me a bunch of shot glasses. They are cute and tiny. I'll fill one up real fast. Okay. Got to turn on my brand new microphone here. They're cute and tiny. They only hold a modicum of hooch, but down the hatch. Tasty. So, hail to the Rook. Appreciate that, my good friend. Appreciate that. Scouring the interwebs for the latest. I found well, I found this thing. This part came from Twitter. I'm gonna have to find the rest. Okay. It says breaking. Paul Feig complained Sony has to agree to give purchasers of Ghostbusters Ultimate Collection a coupon to digitally download Ghostbusters 2016 if they choose to do so, but no hard copy DVD. What the fuck is that, you say? What are they talking about? Well, it's this thing. Paul Feig, and this is coming to us from gigantic frickin' robot here. Paul Feig blasts Sony for erasing the all-female Ghostbusters. Now, I've been, we all had to go to the store a little bit. I know most of us do our shopping online through whatever.com, but sometimes you have to go to the store to find something. And the last time I went to the store, I saw that there was an Ultimate Ghostbusters packaging, but looking on the back, something was missing. Something that Sony made a big deal out of. Was it Sony? Yeah, Sony. Something that Sony made a big fucking deal of in 2016, and that is nowhere in their Ultimate Ghostbuster packaging was this thing to be found. This is by Apeksha Bogchi. What the fuck? I'm sorry if I mispronounced your name. That is quite the name. That is quite the name here. We got Snowdub in the house. We got Rookie in the house. This is quite the fat broadcast chat, isn't it? Hail Snowdub, hope everything's going better for you, all on the up and up. Apexia Bogchi, giant freaking robot. Looks like Sony Pictures is on a self-assigned mission of erasing fact that they once decided to reboot of Ghostbusters franchise. This is terrible writing. Giant freaking robot, fire your editor. With an all-female cast. As per a recent announcement, the production house is releasing the Ghostbusters Ultimate gift set while casually ignoring what it means to be ultimate, as it has simply chosen not to include Ghostbusters Answer the Call. And obviously, the 2016 film's director, Paul Feig, is not okay with Sony blatantly ignoring his creation. Poor butthurt Paul Feig. I don't know how to pronounce his name, so I'm just going to say Feig. Sony will be releasing a Ghostbusters Ultimate gift set in February 2022, made of 8 discs and other items. It will include 2 discs each of the first 2 Ghostbusters films, Ghostbusters 1984 and Ghostbusters 2 1989, which sucked. I'm sorry, Ghostbusters 2 sucks. Along with Jason Reitman's 2021 Ghostbusters Afterlife. The set also includes 2 unknown discs wrapped in cover arts of the Neutrona Wand and Proton Pack, as well as the book Making of Ghostbusters, which covers the creative procedure that took place while making the first film in the franchise. Is that Brie Larson in my fucking Ghostbusters 2016 article? I think that is. I think that's Captain fucking Marvel herself. How about that? How's about that? Ironic. It's ironic. Not in the Alanis way, but in the you guys, this is the birth of the fandom menace. These Ghostbusters 1919 Ghostbusters 2016, arguably the birth of the fandom menace. Arguably the birth of the fandom menace. The article continues. The glaring omission from the otherwise coveted gift set is 2016's Ghostbusters Answer the Call, which rebooted the franchise with an all-female cast of Ghostbusters. The film's absence from the set has been noticed by many, including its director, Paul Feig, who took to Twitter to call out Sony on the unjustified exclusion. In his post, Feig pointed out that his film, too, has a lot of fans, and it even won the Best Feature Film title at the Kids' Choice Awards in 2017. Check out his tweet below. Okay, I don't know how Paul Feig sounds, so I'm going to have to use I'm going to have to approximate a Feig voice. Let me properly libate for this. You're going to need something strong for this. It says, Sony Pictures, I know this must be a mistake. We do have a lot of fans, and Bill and Dan and Ernie were in it, and it won the Kids' Choice Award for Best Feature Film the year it came out. So I guess this is just an oversight. Hashtag, we are all Ghostbusters. It's a ghost in a heart. And then he's retweeting, of course, an article from Slash Film. The Ghostbusters Ultimate gift set doesn't include Ghostbusters 2016. You can't call something ultimate without including everything. Come on. Slash Film is obviously a whore. Because, again, we're going to bring up that word, virtue signaling. And we got somebody knocking on the door. Perhaps he can come and help elaborate with us.
Jesus, I've been trying to get in here for 10 minutes. What's up? Hail, brother.
Hail, friend. We
Good
are
to see you.
good to see you. Good to have you on. We
Yeah,
are
man.
talking this Paul Feig and his butthurt feelings over not being included in the ultimate Ghostbusters.
Yeah, he's a bleeding mangina. There's a lot of those. They're everywhere. They bleed all over the place. They need some man ponds, some sugarless, some sugarless juice, maybe some vanilla wafers, because they whine a lot. A lot of whining going on, from people like Paul Feige, whatever the fucking name is.
I don't even know how to say his name.
I don't want to see Queefbusters. All right, I don't want to see Queefbusters. I didn't want to see it when it came out. I did watch 3/4 of it before I just lost complete interest in it. Because there really wasn't even any member berries in this thing.
No, not really.
It was an abomination story. It came out during the woke era. It was the first real foray for far left politics being injected into our entertainments, although not the first by far.
No.
We had Gamergate long before that, or a few years before that. But yeah, you're right. You were talking earlier about it being like the birth of the menace. It kind of was. The Last Jedi, I would say, was the
I would say that's the crystallizing point. Like something like this comes out and you're kind of going like, well, it's kind of fucky, don't you think? And the timing, because I'm betting that all the studios were anticipating a Democratic win in 2016, and then fucking Trump got in there.
I hear that. I see fatties in the chat.
We got fatties in the chat. Fucking A. We got Rook. We got Snowdub. We got Random Brad, and then we got some people who haven't sounded off yet. So it's okay. It's okay.
Please
savage as we are. The
Absolutely.
lurkers.
Thank you very much for lurking, for being here, for watching, for supporting, for subscribing, for like or disliking. Thank you for looking out for each and every independent channel out here that is putting in the work and being your voice on the front line of this culture war. Hail to you all checking this out an hour later.
Right. I know it's PewDiePie and Drunk 3PO.
Absolutely. Well,
Ryan Kennel, all those people.
Drunk kind of lurks on streams. Yeah, he does. He's kind of like the guy wearing a bath towel, looking, creeping into your house through, looking through the bathroom window.
You see a shape move past your window, and you're like, "Who the fuck was that?"
Is that a Yeti? Oh my god, it's Drunk 3PO. He's watching me masturbate.
3PO.
What's going on?
It's like, what kind of shampoo you got?
Gina must not be in town this week. What's going on?
Nah.
Oh man.
So I was interested in this because I believe that World Class Jeff announced his disdain for this particular film.
Yes.
And then even the fucking the first terrible Star Wars movie.
Yeah.
And it took us a little while to recognize the pattern that was developing, but sure enough, there was.
Well, I mean, Coyle, this is one of the reasons why I feel that documenting the Phantom Menace is important. It is an important part of the culture war that has been waged against us for over a decade. And, that's why the first chapter in the Phantom Menace Volume 1 was about Gamergate, because it was something that most people missed. A lot of people missed. And if you didn't miss it, you got the narrative from the media, from the government, all the way up to the UFing-N, that this is about misogynist gamers, 30-year-olds hiding in their mother's basement because they're scared of women and they're racist. And like that whole narrative started there. And once it began to evolve, if I believe that is worth documenting. I believe Comicsgate, I believe the Phantom Menace is all worth documenting because these were all steps in a culture war that was brought to us. And you're right, there were people that were ahead of the curve. It was more than just Jeff Hicks. There was a few more people out there, can't remember their names offhand, that were like, yeah, this is garbage. Tommy and the Guinea Pig Collective, was one of them. This, with the episode 7, and Ghostbusters, like, this is garbage. There were people out there that were speaking. It wasn't until you had this grassroots movement that came together, this collective that wasn't even completely utterly consisting of the Phantom Menace Collective. You had people who were a part of this but didn't carry that hashtag. People like Snowdub, very important voice in the culture war. People like the Rookie Critic and the Phantom Collective, who brought rising together, the idea of us standing united. Hail the Phantom Collective for bringing that to what we were or what we are. It is. This is why I believe these documentations are necessary. They need to be out there. People need to see the unbiased history of to a degree. There's some chapters that are a little biased, rah Phantom Menace, but there's going to be many people in this book who were not, who understand the importance of standing, not only protecting our modern myths, standing up for our right to have an opinion, but also our very freedoms, which are under threat by people in Hollywood who don't care about anything that they support. They don't even understand what they're talking about. They just know that that's what the money suppliers want them to give these messages. They want this to be the popular opinion. They want a virtue signal, disingenuously from positions of complete dogma, contradicting themselves consistently, preaching about inclusion and diversity, and yet breaking people down and segregating them further and further and further into little check boxes. It is abhorrent that this has been allowed. And so this is why this is why I'm documenting this series. I'm documenting the Phantom Menace. This is an important step in the culture war to where we are today. And it leads into, in my opinion, things like COVID, the common cold, if you will, with its many variants, because the common cold has many variants, and the division between people with masks and jabs and unjabbed, whether you believe that these treatments work or not. I think that the evidence speaks for itself. The factual information speaks for itself. These all come from a systematic manipulation of our media, our entertainers, going all the way back to around 2006, 2007. When you had Democrats on the ground level who were coming together and saying, hey, we need to use our allies in Silicon Valley. We need to use our allies in Hollywood to push our message so we can win over the popular opinion.
Well, the same kind of political deflections that they're using in their, like it crept out into entertainment and criticizing a poor franchise who are adopting those sort of advertising tactics became tantamount to hate crimes.
Yeah, absolutely. And real quick, I'd like to 24 after the hour Snowdub says Drunk 3PO calls you at randomly like a telemarketer with the wrong number. Hail Snow.
Hail Snowdub. That is some savagery. Yes, sir.
Yes. Thank God for Snowdub, someone who not only confronts serious issues in and around our community, but also brings the laughs, promotes independent creators, promotes puppeteers, a lost art. That has been another part of entertainment that has been changed and used now to indoctrinate children into gobbledygook. And I was just talking about this in the chat on Etepokulian stream, Going Rogue. They are doing this, to make, in my opinion, to make our children more accessible to weirdos.
Absolutely.
Who will not be exposed after the Maxwell conviction, because they have sealed some of those records. They have sealed the names that were going to Epstein's Island, not because justice has been served, but because they need to protect the wealthy.
Absolutely, because a lot of those top tier assholes are complicit in this.
Absolutely complicit.
Children disappear all the fucking time, and it's into sex trades, it's into experiments, it's into black magic and nefarious purposes. It's fucked up.
It is really fucked up. Yeah, you're right. Black rituals and things like absolutely. I don't know how far you want to get into Luciferian cults, but
the blood of the innocent, man, it's a powerful magical medium.
It absolutely is.
Yeah, we don't got to spend too much time on that, but it needs to be said. I don't hear a lot of channels willing to go down that path, but it is a thing. And even if you don't believe it, they believe it, which is fucked up in itself.
Absolutely, right? Sir. Absolutely. I think it was said best in a mainstream movie. Was the Keanu Reeves film. It was a account about blood being spiritual currency.
Absolutely.
And that is how mystics view it. Blood is a very powerful component in some rituals. As a spiritualist myself, I recognize that it is a very intricate, powerful component that can be used. Now, even whether you believe that or not, even Christians do. The blood of Christ is quite important.
Absolutely.
Even whether or not you believe that, there is still the possibility, and we have to say possibility, or we have to say conspiracy, because the places like YouTube don't recognize factual information.
Sure.
That people will acquire and use that component for whatever rituals they deem fit, whether they are moral or not. This is something that's gone on for thousands of years in several different cultures. This is nothing new.
Absolutely. That's why when very briefly the whole spirit cooking came to light, I'm like, okay, here's somebody combining life's blood with menstrual blood, and then they're talking about the blood of virgins and innocents,
Yeah.
and then you saw people walking around. There was a description of their ceremony, and then you had public officials with the same cut on the same finger as described in that. So that's what I'm saying. Even if the mainstream doesn't believe that blood is a powerful magical component, those people do. And
They
that's
do.
what they are fucking doing.
The mainstream does. They absolutely do. Immortal. They hide it. Like in my opinion, they hide it just like they hide documents that contain the names and have for a long time of people within the media, the government, and entertainment spheres, powerful billionaires, people in the palace, if you will, that are involved in the trafficking of children.
Absolutely.
This is all a part of the common fabric of this culture war, ladies and gentlemen. This is all a part of it. It is not just some, it's not just someone you can point to as a loon that has a podcast that's just screaming off, incoherent anger babble now and again. This is a consistent history of cases being brought forward, of documented, witnesses who have been documented in several countries. This is not fantasy. It is not fantasy, and it is interwoven into what we are fighting. It has, and in my opinion, has a lot to do with why children's shows are targeted by these weirdos who don't even know what fucking gender they are, trying to propagate the idea that there's like 87 genders and 20 million sexualities and all this crazy nonsense that is just fake and unreal, much like the virus. And they're trying to they're trying to condition your children. Like there's many nefarious parts to the way that I view the Phantom Menace, and what it meant is not just people who didn't like a movie about space wizards and laser swords. It is not simply about that. We see how many channels, the discussions that have changed, the topics that have changed, the types of personalities that have risen up, and those that still have yet to rise but are finding their footing. And a lot of it has to do with engaging against the far left extremists who point to everyone outside of their echo chamber as the extremists themselves, the dogmatic rhetoric that they spew, and also the complete ineptitude of the modern media to hold any kind of journalistic principle when it comes to documenting the most nefarious things that are happening in our society around us, all because they want to protect their own spheres.
Well, then I should ask you this as an author. Do you find that articles are articles that are supposed to be informative are actually op-eds that are disguised, and it's talking down to the audience, telling us what we should and shouldn't do? Does that offend you as a journalist?
Absolutely. I believe that the ability to give opinion pieces, we need that. We absolutely need that. You need the freedom of expression and freedom of the press. What offends me is the constant presentation of knowingly false information only to facilitate a false narrative. Russia collusion, and then you get things like the Maxwell trial. I mean, I'm just using that because that's an important topic at the moment. And then we're not allowed to know any of it. We're not allowed to. Case closed. Judge made a statement talking about, yep, we found the perp, we did it, everything. There's the way that Jane Theory said it was perfect on the dump tonight. It is, look at the wording of what the judge said. They're acting as though this is a finality, this is a closing, everything's done, and it's not. There are hundreds of perps out there who basically robbed women, young women and boys, of their souls that need to be brought to justice. That's what offends me as a journalist. When I read pieces like Tommy had shared the other day about that one guy bitching about, don't clap at the movies, you're ruining our experience. Oh, you're praising the white men. I can't use that argument right now. You're clapping at the movies is offensive. Enjoying our modern myths is offensive if there's no far left narrative involved. What's up, Vinny?
Yes, those Yahtzees. Hey guys,
bro. How's it? We want to welcome in Vinny Art, his first time on the show. Our good friend, our fellow rogue. What is happening, Benny?
Be gentle.
Oh, Benny. You're getting back kisses, Vin.
I know. You came in when we were talking about like ritual sex and whatnot.
Yeah, dude. Go in. I know you got a hard on for this subject, man. Let it loose.
Wait, what of the narrative that's being spun all the time? The bullshit that's going on right now in Hollywood and politics, all that stuff?
Yes, sir.
The fucking cover-ups, like this Maxwell bullshit.
Absolutely.
Yeah, isn't it amazing? I'm seeing that Alan Dershowitz, like on every fucking news station now. He's a correspondent. Excuse me. This guy has also been implicated in this shit. He's in the Netflix documentary. There's photos of him with these people. He's like, oh, I'm suing them. I'm glad Virginia didn't get on this stand and testify because it's a false out. Excuse me, it's not false. And there's photos with her and Prince Andrew, multiple photos. I love how they keep spinning this shit and protecting these scumbags over and over and over again. You know, how come she didn't get all 6 charges? How come it wasn't guilty on all 6? How come it was only 5? Why did the judge lock up? They resealed all the photos and documents again to protect their fucking group of nasty pieces of shits that keep destroying the world.
Right.
Yeah.
Absolutely, brother. And the reason that she didn't get the one charge, Mr. Grant Gregory brought up a good point earlier. He was saying that, and as far as the coercion point, well, just asking a minor to take a trip or get on a boat is not an offense. You know what I mean? But I'm sorry, but in my opinion, asking them to get on a boat that goes to an island where they're going to grape you, that's an offense.
Yeah. Oh, I would say so.
Yeah.
Would you let your kids go on a fucking trip with, I don't know, 60-year-old men? You think that's just going to be platonic? It's going to be a great little time?
Vinny, no. The unfortunate true answer to that is, for some parents, how much money?
Yeah. Pay them to forget.
Yeah, pay them to forget. That's what a lot of them Hollywood, those the Hollywood stars who are child actors who have grown up and given testimony about what has going on or made statements about what's going on. That's basically what they say. Yeah, my mom and dad, or my mom, they didn't care. I mean, they were getting paid. They're getting money, and it's sick.
It is sick.
Absolutely, man.
This is a painting from the Denver International Airport, and they have a lot of weird shit up like this where it's all very symbolic. But look at all these children. Isn't that weird?
Yeah, well, I mean, it's a mural about kids. I mean,
yeah. So we were all talking about ley lines and all that kind of shit. So it's all out there, folks. We're not going to spend too much time dwelling on this topic, obviously, but it is one of those things that needs to be said, and I'm glad that we are talking about that.
It is a topic that needs to be said in the context that of the way that I perceive things, because as I was waiting backstage and then came on, you were talking about to Ghostbusters 2016,
yes,
the kind of the beginning of the fandom menace, what that meant. Yes. And like I said, to my mind, movements, independent movements, grassroots movements like Gamergate, all the way to the fandom menace, they are backlashes to extremism who are bringing a culture war to us in order to change the way we think, divide us, keep us separated, keep us from looking at the bad guys while indoctrinating our children to be more accessible to perverts. It has a lot to do. In my opinion, the fandom menace has a lot more to do than just people bitching about a Star Wars movie. That was the genesis that brought everything together. But if you look at the way that many people have continued on the topics that a lot of us talk about, Vinny started in Comicsgate, right? Independent creator, solid independent creator. Very often, this man, as well as promoting other indie creators, talks about these topics like many of us. Because we are engaged, whether we accept it or not, whether we have accepted it or not, we are engaged in a culture war. Politics was brought to us, and now we're going to talk and confront it.
Absolutely. Well, and so we had this article coming up too. This is from Forbes, so it's not from, butthole.com. If it wants to load, it wanted to load earlier, but
it doesn't want your load, Immortal.
It doesn't want my load. So
yeah,
I saw that coming.
I guess. Yes, I guess we'll just pull up a
whip it out.
Yeah, we'll just whip it out. We're just gonna pull up like a random
random person off the street. Can we get Snow?
Snow
a roofie and pull him out?
Pornhub kind of thing. It's about this Peter Dinklage thing where he is going out. Yeah, I saw this the other day. I hadn't had.
Send me the link. I'll bring it up for you.
Yeah, it's out the Forbes link. Hang on. I
Yeah,
will
just put it in
send
the
to
private
you.
chat. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Pete Dinklage. What the hell's going on with that midget? What? Vinny, he's in a series, right?
Yes,
That
that is
everybody
the
loved.
correct term.
That
Midget.
made him yes midget. That made him famous, and then took a complete dump in the last few seasons. Just completely went off the rails and just destroyed itself. And now he's bitching about fans' expectations.
Yes. The
Didn't those
link's out
fans?
there. Go ahead, pull it up.
Yep. Nope. I'm whipping it out.
I think he's just trying to stay relevant again, and
You
he thinks
think?
by attacking fans he's going to get more work again. Well, I'm sorry, you're a wee lad. You're not in demand like I don't know, like a Rock or a Henry Cavill. Sorry, you're just not in demand like that. Nope.
Absolutely. So go ahead and read this since you got the thing up, man.
Absolutely. If I can get there.
The thing that I dig about this is coming from Forbes. This isn't like Giant Freaking Robot or Bounding into Comics or even though those rags have various reliability factors, Forbes is one of the powerhouse, the pillars of fucking media.
It is, and Forbes covers money, a lot of topics about economics and what is making money, and we've gotten to the point where the wallets have been hit so hard because the fans have been attacked and are not funding this bullshit that if Forbes is going to start covering this, it's getting to them. Like they can't hide the truth anymore. And that's the way I see it. This is Peter Dinklage is wrong again about why fans hated the Game of Thrones ending. This is from Eric Kane at Forbes. Please give them a look. I'd like that season.
Did you guys read the books?
I did not read the book.
2.5 of them.
Okay, well, because Tyrion, like, he was physically maimed in the book, like half his nose is gone and all this shit. And I would say, as a dwarf, that Peter Dinklage is probably a better looking dwarf than a lot of the other ones you see.
Well, they definitely kept him that way without doing that kind of work.
Yeah, but there was a thing about having a grotesque little imp running around who was like physically repulsive to look at, but he was smart, like his Lannister father. But anyway. Yeah, go ahead.
Well, they're by the last season they already had one like that, didn't they? They didn't need two. It was what's her name, Khaleesi. She really was a hideous little fucking troll of a person, right?
The mother of dragons. It's like, just shut up and take off your clothes.
I lost interest in her when she was like, "I'm not getting naked again, bitch." That's how you started episode 1. I want to see them nitties. What are you doing?
That's right.
That's what you're there for, honey. All right.
Keep the most politics out of it.
Right. Exactly.
The most paused moment in Game of Thrones, and then she went on and did that fucking menstrual comic book.
Oh God! Wow. Oh. Listen, it's free bleed somewhere else, honey. Well, you know what got me is when they did the scene where all the Khals were killed. They had to CGI her naked. No, honey. No. We already know what it looks like. Come on, honey. We want to see it aged. We want to see the wine. Come on.
They had to CGI her.
They had to. Yes, that scene was CGI'd, Vinny. That was CGI'd from the first.
How ridiculous! They took a body from the first season and they put it in there with.
Yeah,
like, I never heard of anything so retarded before in my life.
It's called the far left.
Right.
Wow. Yeah. All right. So
continue. You were talking about a midget.
Yeah.
What do we got here?
Peter Dinklage must be in some kind of denial. He's a great actor. I loved his portrayal of Tyrion Lannister, the Imp, in HBO's Game of Thrones. He was the perfect choice. But when it comes to why the fans were and still are upset with how the show ended.
Wait! I got to stop you. He was the perfect choice. There was only 2 choices. It was him and the midget from Pirates of the Caribbean.
Right?
Really?
Kenny Baker was dead.
Yeah. I mean, well, yeah. But I mean, we'll throw Wee Man in there.
Wee Man's too tall. No.
Is he? Okay, Brad. What about Brad?
Wee Man's a dwarf. He's not a midget.
Oh, all right. No bad. My bad. Yeah, we needed man hands, and I get that.
Right.
But when it comes to why fans were and still are upset with how the show ended, Dinklage has a blind spot. That's understandable, of course. You don't want to hear negative things about something that you had a major part in creating that occupies such an important piece of your life and work and art. Still, being attached to something that can mean you're too close to it to see the flaws and blemishes. And season 8 of Game of Thrones was filled with unforced errors, a massively rushed conclusion to an intricate story of politics, intrigue, warring houses, and prophecies gone terribly awry. The real problem with season... Oh, this was written by a fan. That's why. The real problem...
He's one of us.
Yeah, he's one of us. With season 8 Game of Thrones was that it shouldn't have been the final season. We needed 2 more at the very least, absolutely.
Yes.
2 season-long conflicts that should have played out. Yeah, and the last one should have been the White Walkers. First, the war against the White Walkers was a deeper examination of who the Night King was, or how he related to Bran Stark and the Three-Eyed Raven, not to mention the Children of the Forest and the First Men. Second, the war against Daenerys Targaryen, those forces were far more powerful than all the rest of the combined 7 kingdoms once she took power with her dragons. The entire season devoted to these 2 enormous conflicts, 2 long nights in a row, were, as it were, would have been enough time to resolve these stories at a bare minimum. The final season would also need at least an extra long episode for denouement and resolution, which were also incredibly rushed in the version we got. We might have avoided these rushed conflicts, like Arya appearing out of the blue to kill. Oh God, that was such a that's a Ray moment.
He's like fucking 12, killing the.
Fucking hate that moment. No, that bitch should have killed the Queen. Like, who the fuck couldn't see that? Jon Snow was supposed to kill the Night King. He should have been but no, they couldn't do that. They couldn't do that. Oh my God! Fuck Game of Thrones. Jeremy loving and leaving Brienne of Tarth. What the fuck was that about?
Right. He
What
just
was
had
that
to.
shit? Why? What the fuck is going on? Listen. They're
because they also cut out another character. There was Lady Stoneheart. There was the Stark mother who was supposed to come back, and she was savage. She was murdering them all.
Yep.
Yeah. We didn't get that. We didn't get a lot of characters. If you watch like the Tommy and Nerdrotic, those guys talk about it a lot. Jane talks about it.
We sure did get a lot of penis, though, didn't we?
We got dongs, but we didn't get.
I mean, it's not American Gods, but
Look, American Gods. Can we not talk about that gay fucking series?
We'll never mention that again. So.
If you like American Gods, you watch it. Okay, I can't deal with that much crazy fucking sausage, mythical man meat, and graping going on. I can't do it. I can't. Okay, just you know what? I'll just save all the shit and go watch Oz over again. I can't do it. Because Oz was gay as shit. We might have God. I can't read. I can't read this shit.
Watch Dexter, guys.
Yeah.
I hit the wall. I hit the wall. I can't do it.
Damn.
Oh, okay. Let's see. The accurate dragon killing trebuchet. Oh God, I can't. This is so fucking. This is bringing nightmares to my imagination.
Well, we're talking to a man who has an avatar that has both a dragon and a white wolf.
Show me your tits. Show me your tits. That's just show me your tits. And first off, making her evil definitely could have done that. Should have taken a whole season, whole 10 episodes for that to even happen.
What was it? An episode and a half?
Episode and a half. Yeah, she got some dick from a guy. Oh, I screwed the wrong
cousin
guy.
or whatever.
Her nephew.
Her nephew.
Her nephew.
Which again, they also fucked up. They should have just made him a Baratheon, because you had the king that was plowing everybody. He was in love with Stark's sister. Just make him the fucking bastard of him. Assholes.
I know. I can't do it. I can't. God. Shit. Well, everybody was going to have an opinion. He says, this little dickhead.
You should use an Elroy voice. Can you do that and be like, well?
He has a deep voice for. I mean, I think
does.
He does.
He probably had to practice it, so
it's the big head. It's the big head. It had a big throat to support that big
mighty
head.
Sinuses there.
Well, everybody's going to have an opinion, and that means ownership. He said, "It's like breaking up with somebody. They get upset. I can't speak for everybody, but my feelings is they didn't want it to end, so a lot of people got angry. I feel like what the showrunners, did was extraordinary. Yes, people didn't want it to end. But not in some vague, abstract way. I know that.
By extraordinary, he means gay.
Gay.
Yes.
He means sausage tickling, ball smoking gay, and I can't do it.
They literally cut off somebody's cock and balls and sent it through the mail.
I mean,
It's that kind of show.
That's a package I don't want.
Return to sender.
Return to sender. Yes. If it smells like an ass-scented candle, send it back.
Send it back to New Jersey.
Yeah, send it to where the frogs are gay. They didn't want to go on forever. Most fans wanted to end in a satisfying way that didn't feel massively rushed, filled with teleportation and inexplicable character changes. Abso-freaking-lutely. What more needs to be said? I actually have to run to another stream in a minute, so I can't read all this.
Find the actual quote. It's towards the bottom, because this guy is just lamenting the same as we all did. We're just like, okay, there it goes. It gets worse.
Right.
Quoth.
All right, here we go. Quoth Tinklage. I think he meant quote, but we'll take quoth. He might have had a lisp. He might write with a lisp. They wanted pretty white people to ride off into the sunset together. No, but the show subverts what you think, and that's what I love about it. You fucking piece of shit. Somebody ball stomp this asshole.
Who else do we know that talks like that?
I don't know. Yeah,
might be a book in there for that.
But at the end, the whole dialogue went when people would approach me in the street was, "Who's going to be on the throne?" I don't know why. That was their takeaway from the show was really more than that. Yeah, well then why was it the ending?
Why was it called Game of Thrones? That's not what it was
because
about.
The Game of Thrones didn't matter. What mattered was this ominous gloom, this fucking finality of death that was coming from the north that nobody was paying attention to while everybody was fighting for land and pussy.
Benny and Weiss, they wanted the series to be all about the junk that they send in the mail. That's it.
Yes, that's exactly it. And it was gay. It was very gay.
Yeah, there's some gay shit in the mail that you don't even want to look at.
This is pretty ridiculous, Frank, to suggest fans merely wanted a happy ending. and to suggest this is not a happy ending, Dinklage.
Yeah.
And to suggest that it had anything to do at all with pretty white people and Jon Snow is insulting to fans.
Dink dink. Dink
fuck
dink
this,
dink dink
dink
dink
dink dink dink. Yeah, fuck this racist fucking piece of shit. I'm never supporting anything Dinklage does again. Him and his gay fucking haircut in this new movie where he's carrying a sword longer than his body. I'm not fucking doing it.
You're in luck. The only movie that he'd probably be in would be if they did a sequel to Elf.
Yeah, let's do that. I think we should put him in a clown costume, is what I think, because he's a clown. I can't deal with this shit no more. I actually have to run. Hail to the chat. Hail Vinny, Hail Immortal. I got to go. I'm not saying where I'm going to because I don't want to cut your stream short. So I'm going to talk to you later. You sure?
Running to a throne.
No, I am running to Rogue Entertainment's Ashley Lynn, and my bad on her channel starting in a few minutes. So I got to run over there, guys. Be good to each other. Suffer no fools. Peace.
All right. So, Vinny, have you seen the Boba Fett show?
Yes, I actually did.
Okay, because that is the big ticket item of the night. Now, we don't necessarily have to go into like a scene by scene synopsis, just kind of giving a like a general impression. I have this special image that I pulled up. This is Darth Vader scorning Boba Fett. For me, this image right here, no disintegrations, spoke the most about his character, how he conducted business, all this kind of shit. And whereas I was expecting a show like The Sopranos in outer space, which obviously Disney can't quite do to full effect, we're getting something like Boba Fett's in the Sarlacc pit, developing a sense of morals, like his, like, how did I wind up here? I better think my life over again. And
yeah, I was not wowed by that episode. I can tell you that much. But he's supposed to be such a badass. He's built up this lore between the other books and then the other stuff outside of the original movies. Because he would have 6 minutes or so. But yeah, I don't like what they're doing with this character. It's kind of annoying, to be honest. This shit where I don't know, he takes over, like you said. He's supposed to be like the big crime boss now, and he's kind of being a bit of a pussy.
Yeah. I was watching this with my roommate, and my roommate's like one of these dudes who's a pop culture encyclopedia.
Mhm.
And he's just like, this is ridiculous. And the only way that I could see this paying off is if this is all a ruse. Because, he just walks into fucking Canto Bight Casino or like Star Wars Hotel Casino. Because you're probably going to see something like that in Orlando if you go, right?
Yeah.
And he says, well, how you doing, madam? And she goes, oh, pretty well. And they hand him a helmet full of credits. And then he
Right.
walks out and they have those like Gungan force fields and they're poking them with their sticks.
Right.
And I'm like, where the fuck is Boba Fett? He should have like the arm missiles, the tweeting birds, and just pa 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 pa.
Yeah.
Fuck out of my way.
He stood there like, what just happened? What happens? He's not a badass anymore when he's holding his helmet full of fucking coins from like
Right.
a one-armed bandit. I mean, what the fuck happened? I was
That's
confused.
Cucka Fett.
I gotta say one thing though. Jennifer Beals did look really fucking hot.
Oh yeah.
And
And I kept on thinking these Twi'leks, they're way too overdressed.
Mhm.
Usually you could see some ass cheeks or some tits or something. Like,
yeah, that's
what the
right.
fuck?
There should have been
Who-
some fucking side tit at least.
Yeah, who gave them permission to put on clothes on Tatooine?
It's bullshit. It's,
What the
it's
fuck,
conspiracy,
man?
I tell you.
Yeah, but it's strange because, like, Boba Fett got his ass kicked. He's laying supine on the hot sands of Tatooine,
Mhm.
and Fennec Shand or whatever the fuck her name is, Ming Na Wen. He's like,
Mhm.
don't kill them, bring them back. Like, what the fuck, Boba Fett? These guys didn't care about not killing you. What's
Right.
going on in your
Well,
fucking clone ass
well,
noggin head?
For that part, I can understand because it's like I want one. I want to know who fucking sent you. Okay, like that I get, and then like he'd want to kill him himself. So I better see in episode 2, he better kill that guy himself after we get to see him for what he wants. But because she just threw the other one off the roof, right? She only needed one.
Yeah,
That's what I got. So I wasn't that bothered by that moment. But to see, like you said, to see him go down like a bitch. Ooh, he hit one guy. He slammed fucking his weapon into the guy's face. Wow, whoop de do. I wanted to see him take out most of those people by himself. Like you said,
actually, I did too, and that's why I'm wondering if all these like Betty Bye, Back the Tank, dream sequence things that were shown, is this explaining the change of his character? Because he crawls out the pit, Jawas jack his shit, and then suddenly he's like a sand person bitch. And what he comes
he's one with the sand people that, again, we got to remember they were rapists and fucking basically sex slave people there. What they did to Anakin's mom.
Yeah, they were supposed to be animals and get slaughtered like animals. I noticed that most of those sand people didn't have any lightsaber burns in them.
Dude, like, to see him like that, he becomes one with the people because he saves the one little kid one. Okay, well, I don't get it. It makes zero fucking sense to me.
Right. If it was in keeping with his character, you'd think he'd feed that kid to the Sand Goro or whatever the fuck that was that came out.
Yeah,
and then
exactly.
And then just walk.
It looked like an extra from John Carter of Mars. But yeah, he would have killed that thing, killed the kid. That dog thing he could have killed as well because it was already knocked out. He could have just finished it off. He's like, all right, fine. And then go over to where those other people were, and there's water there. He could have stolen shit out of that person's home, clothes, of fucking vehicle to get out of there. You know what I mean? There's so many different options. No, he walks back with the kid. Why?
Yeah. Just to volunteer to put the collar back around his neck or something. What the fuck?
Right. Oh, that's
did you ever see
people?
Did you read Star Wars comics back in the day? Were you a collector of like Dark Horse and all that kind of shit?
I had a couple Dark Horse ones, but I didn't get too deep into it because I didn't have time.
Oh, that's cool. Well, it was kind of like a side story. Like after the main comic ended, there was like a couple 2-3 pages where it showed Darth Vader had some like business on Tatooine. Like, the Emperor was like, go and make sure that Jabba's still blah. So it was
Right.
like, of course, my master. And then, like, while he's there doing his business, he kind of slips away and goes and fucks up the Sand People. But the Sand People were kind of impressed by his brutality and built this like Trojan horse kind of wooden effigy of Vader.
Oh,
And
sweet.
yeah, like it was something that in my head kind of taught me about the culture of the fucking, like, they respected brutality. But we're not going to get that with Disney. And I started like, this is really where I figured out what's going to happen is that I wanted The Sopranos in space, or I wanted like The Godfather in space, but it's on Disney Plus, and they're not going to show shit like that to kids. They have a responsibility to dress this up as some sort of like morals game.
Yeah.
I did see that Jon Favreau wrote the first episode, so is this going to be like another instance where, like in The Mandalorian, not every fucking show lands? In the Clone Wars, not every fucking show lands, but there are going to be some standout episodes that somehow lead up to this, this big fucking thing that they're going to end up doing, this MCU moment. Yeah.
Well, I think Jon Favreau, he's got, I don't know, he's biting off too much more now than he could chew. And you could see it with, like, again, the plot holes that you and I both spotted with this. Rodriguez did a pretty good job with the directing, but again, like having him fall asleep in this med bed to patch him all up so that they don't have to put all that makeup on the actor anymore, and making all these little dumb things, and right away he runs back to the damn med bed because he got injured on his side and he's gonna die if he doesn't. I'm like, really? Like, he's relying on these two fucking douches that he saved? Like, I don't know, man. Again, like you said, they gate him up.
Well, so in continuity, if we're looking at this as a canon sort of timeline, right? So he climbs out of the pit, and I get that he might not be a man by himself, but obviously it looked like the barge had been destroyed, and he climbed out at some point after that scene in Return of the Jedi, but before the start of The Mandalorian. I don't think he was in there for a year. It doesn't even seem like he was in there for more than a couple days.
Right.
But in continuity, he meets up with fucking Pedro Pascal, not the Nazi comparative actor, but the Din Djarin character. And he goes and flies around in space and dodges lasers and knocks heads and hangs out with Bill Burr and does all this shit with Gina Carano. And then suddenly a couple of like bullshit like mayor's detaché guards are able to kick his ass. And he has to run back to his fucking bubble bath.
Yeah. But you didn't see, they were ninjas.
Right, Tatooine,
space ninjas.
Yeah,
he got intimidated and scared. I don't know what to do. My Asian girlfriend, go kick their ass.
Right, the fucking armpit of the universe, and I'm paraphrasing Luke Skywalker here. There are like roof ninjas that rival any fucking elite warrior system, because obviously the Mandalorians don't live there anymore, right? They had to move. So these roof ninjas, they're the apex predators, and they can kick Boba Fett, the fucking template of the clones, the unaltered base template of these fucking things, It's nuts. It's nuts, man. So, and let me ask you this, because obviously we're just one episode in, but you write comic books. Is there like some sort of plot device here that maybe we're misperceiving because it's just one episode, or is this like is it really as bad as I'm perceiving it based on the first viewing?
I think it's as bad as we both perceive it, because I mean, yeah, we want to see the character. Yeah, they kind of did some things. It's like, all right, yeah, I'm fine with that. But overall, you could see he's more of a pussified version of what Boba Fett's supposed to be. And is he really going to be the crime boss for long? Because it doesn't look like it. It sounds like you said, he's going to find more morals and do better things. And we got a taste of it, I think, on The Mandalorian. He came back as a badass, and then what happened? Right away, his yeah, I'll help you. All right, it's a kid. All right.
Yeah.
What? Like,
Okay.
fuck off. I don't know. I'm really. I was agitated before I saw it, and then I was having problems with my fucking internet while I was trying to watch the goddamn thing. So maybe I got extra pissed off. But
Right, or maybe the universe is trying to tell you something.
yeah, it's like it's not going to be good, Vinny.
You might want to sit this one out, buddy.
Yeah, that's what it looks like. Like visually, there's some cool shit to look at, but at the same time, it feels almost like a regurgitation of the Mandalorian, but now it's a more familiar character.
Sure. Well, it's like, remember Mos Eisley? Remember? You know?
Remember berries.
Remember berries. Yeah, I caught a couple of those. So the other thing that I hear on the social medias, and I'm sort of examining this in myself. If you watch the Book of Boba Fett, is that sort of like mean to Gina Carano, who is like the darling of the fucking Phantom Menace, and beyond that, you know, she represents the physical embodiment of Disney backtracking on their moral stances. You know, she's a
Right.
strong, independent woman, but because she was strong and independent in an opposite political way than they prefer, she was shit canned unceremoniously.
Yeah.
What do you think, man?
I hear you. Yes and no, because at the same time, she's also spoken very highly of Jon Favreau even after all that, and she does like those guys still. But on the same note, like I'm not giving money to them. Like again, I borrowed Disney Plus. I'm not paying for. I'm not giving them my money. So
Yeah.
I'll put it there. But at the same time, it's like I was approaching it like a critic, not so much a fan. Because like you said, I know there were going to be member berries, obviously, but again, like what they gave us, like we know that they were going to give us him coming out of the pit, but at the same time, it's even the shot that they had. It's like stolen artwork because I've seen other people put out shit that they weren't officially paid by fucking Lucas or Disney or any of that shit, and like they're just kind of, I don't know, this whole mainstream is just turning my stomach over and over. It's the same garbage all the time. That's why I like these mainstream people. All of them, I think, are the fucking same, dude. I had some respect for John still, for Favreau, because like what his visions have been stronger than anybody else out there, and he has come from the fan side of things. But I think now it's too much. It's like he's getting tainted, I think, by them. He has to work with Kennedy and all these other fucking shit. And I don't know. I think it's starting to rub off in a bad way because, yeah, he has more responsibility. And people are relying on him to actually build up this universe a little bit more and try to fix it. But there's only so much you could do. I don't know.
Well, and I wonder about this too. Like, I feel like for some reason that this Luke Skywalker thing wasn't planned in the way that like it would typically be planned, especially by people like the creative team at Disney Lucasfilm. Yeah. But that the sheer mass of Jon Favreau's swinging balls convinced them otherwise, that, hey, this is what we have to do. We have to at least do it this one time. Yeah. So it's like the ball swing swagger versus the sit down and let Disney dictate. It has to have these elements kind of thing. Like, is this the balance that's being struck? This sort of script writing?
Possibly. I couldn't tell you, like you said, it's just the first one so far, but you can kind of see the recipe already. So
yeah. I guess for me, it's going to be like, okay, another couple episodes. Like maybe if by episode 3 I'm not seeing something more indicative of a change in his character, or a like the snare and the trap has been fucking sprung and now like the jaws are shutting. Is this just feigning weakness? That's what I want to believe about this.
Yeah, I really don't know, dude. Because like, when he keeps going into this past shit where he's remembering all this crap and he becomes one with the Sand People, which it's just going to be a really dumb gay moment. I mean, we already got a taste of it. They're giving him this respect, and I'm going to assume they're going to start to train him. So he became
Sure.
even more of a badass. But then, like you said, in this episode, he still got his ass handed to him by a couple of space ninjas.
Yeah. Well, he should have been a badass to begin with. Also, in
Yes.
old comics continuity, Darth Vader hired Boba Fett to figure out who the rebel was that blew up the Death Star. Because as far as Darth Vader knew, it's just this pilot who's super strong with the Force. And what the fuck is this? But
Right.
when he came back, like he fought Luke Skywalker, and Luke Skywalker basically won out of dumb luck. It's kind of like, the Force is in his blood and all this kind of shit. And he sent Boba Fett home packing. So he's like, okay, Lord Vader, all I got was a name. It's Skywalker. Is that cool? We done here? And yeah. So Darth Vader trusts Boba Fett's skill set enough that he's able to hire him out and go do shit that he can't officially go do, but
Right.
not strong enough to take on the son of the chosen one, who's and I get that, but like some fucking butthole ninjas from Tatooine who probably have sand in their ass crack.
Right.
It seems out of step. So
it does. You're 100% correct. Like I didn't like that. And like I understand what Favreau was trying to do because it's that whole thing too of like even like characters like Batman or whatever. You want to see them get put into a situation like, all right, how are they going to get out of it? Yeah, they get their ass handed to them. But someone who's supposed to be one of these most feared bounty hunters, his skill set is like on another level. And again, all the lore that's behind them to just kind of make him like cook out like that and fucking lose. Because they had magic shields. Wow.
What? It was the same shields the Gungans had at the fucking Phantom Menace.
Yeah, I
different
was
color,
looking,
but Yeah.
Well, what I was looking to see is when like he threw Ming-Na Wen went up in the air and she kind of like was trying to kick all of them. I thought, okay, they just realized their legs are exposed, so take out the legs.
Take out their legs.
Didn't happen. They waited for our fucking the guards at the what are they called?
The Gamorrean guards.
Gamorrean guards.
Yeah.
They had to wait for them because we had to show I spared their lives. They're gonna help me now. See, I was right. Being good is okay, right, Ming-Na Wen?
It's me. Yeah. Well, and it's okay. That's another thing I should bring up is that I felt the fucking fight scene was mostly camera angles. There wasn't, if you thought about their actual fight choreography, it wasn't very impressive, but the way that they cut the camera to make it look like that hit was impactful. Yeah. I really found the fight choreography lacking.
Me too. Like her scenes were a little bit better. She actually does know what she's doing, but you're right. Like there's only so much you can get out of Morrison because he is older. You know, they try to put him on a diet and get him back on some kind of regimen. You could tell he's in better shape than he was during Mandalorian. I mean, let's face it, he had his gut was fucking hanging out.
Oh man,
he looked like Baby Huey when he first put the armor on.
He sure did. It's like a dad bod fat.
Right. It's like, it was cool to see, but at the same time, it's like, dude, you could have done a fucking sit up, run around the block a couple times.
Right.
I guess maybe put the Guinness down for, I don't know, a month.
Right. So in the absence of a good Hollywood product, the obvious answer is to create your own. So how are you coming along with your projects and stuff like that? When can we expect more from Vinny Art?
It'll be first quarter. I'm finishing up the pencils and inks on this last page. I'm actually on the last panel of it. It's a bigger panel, but I'm just trying to make sure it's damn solid because it is kind of our cliffhanger page. So,
sure.
But yeah, then I'm going to be. I got maybe about 10 pages to paint, but I should be able to move through those at a pretty good time. So, yeah, it looks like it's going to be April-ish. So we're still in the first quarter on that. But yeah, this is the first project I'm even a little bit delayed on, because I've been doing those other 5 campaigns back to back, and
sure,
yeah, that's why they call me the Fulfillment King because I haven't stopped, I'll slow down a little bit at when this is done. I just want to make sure that it's fulfilled in everyone's hands. Then I'm going to be focusing on City of Venus too.
So I wanted to ask you about your process a little bit, and I've actually been meaning to bullshit with you in general, but you're on East Coast, I'm on the West Coast, and it happens that way. So you wrote the entire script yourself?
Yep.
And then you did pencils and inks and colors all yourself?
Yep.
Okay. Do you use a program or do you do it traditionally?
For which part?
Well, okay. So when you're doing pencils and inks, do you actually have a piece of paper in front of you, or are you on a tablet?
Yeah. Yeah, for the most part I did, but this last act of the book I've been doing digital inks because it's quicker. So
Okay.
yeah, because even the way I was running the campaign, like I thought I'd start moving a couple pages, and then if things were starting to go more, then I would have probably done more traditional inks. But as it is, because I hate parting with original pages. It's a little bit different than just doing a regular commission because I'm way more attached to obviously the story and what I'm doing with these characters and everything. So I'd like to kind of keep them all together, but that's why the prices are a little bit high when it comes to the original full pages. But yeah, I decided, yeah, let me just do digital inks. It'll be quicker. But yeah, everything is pretty much drawn out on the actual proper comic book boards. I'll scan them in. And then, yeah, I typically just I paint them on Photoshop.
Okay. So for the nerds out there, like what kind of pencils do you like? What kind of inks do you like?
I'm pretty simple actually, and I surprised the hell out of a lot of people, including like Greg Capullo and some of these other guys that I kind of knew from the convention scene. I went, which pencils do you prefer? I'm like, I took out just a 0.05 lead on a mechanical pencil.
Okay.
And
I
I'm
thought
like,
you were gonna whip out like a Ticonderoga or something.
no, just like a fucking regular standard mechanical pencil. Where if I'm at a Office Depot or an art store and I'm in need of one of those, I'll just grab it. I don't need anything special. But some people are like they get the blue. Sometimes I'll work with the blue pencil as well, just to kind of get like a rough outline, and then I'll tighten it all up with with the pencils. Or go maybe even straight to ink. It depends. But for the most part, yeah, I'll take a mechanical pencil.
Do you still go out and do conventions and shit for the
I haven't
projects?
since all this coof shit because so many things were canceled. But I might be doing a couple this year. There's a couple guys who asked me, and I'm like, yeah. I said it depends. Well, if we didn't go into civil war by that point, and there's no lockdowns, sure.
Right. And I guess I should ask. The answer should be obvious, but I'd like for you to elaborate on this. Can you describe the difference in working for a studio versus working for yourself? What were the conditions like, and how has it changed now that you're your own man, so to speak?
Well, I could tell you because the one where I was really because I've done work all over the place, but where I was in studio was with McFarlane, and yeah, it's weird because part of it feels like it's like a Mr. Rogers kind of field trip.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm seeing how like the bread is made and whatever, and then you start to see the kind of shittiness of people, much like like Twitter bullshit and those back rooms and shit that I can't stand. I've always hated it. And you see a lot of that, and then who's sleeping with who's stealing money from the company,
Right.
oh my god, it's like, yeah, it was ridiculous. So yeah, being my own man, doing my own thing, it's great because I don't have to deal with any of that bullshit. And when it does pop up, like in some of the dumb circles that have happened in like CG and all that crap, I just fucking block and move on because I can't stand this kind of nonsense and drama. People who do that shit either want to hurt others or they're jealous of other people, and it's this repetitive nonsense. Or they're trying to hurt you in order to get attention from a bigger person in CG. That's usually how it works, right? And I don't give a fuck. I want to make good books, and I'm more content with if I got to build up shit on my own, I'll build shit up on my own. I'm not a stranger to that. A lot of people, it's all about the clout chasing and kissing ass in order they think to make money. I don't really subscribe to that. You could if you want. That's up to you. But typically, I don't like to hang around with people like that because there's snakes in the grass.
So were you like blackballed, or did you present your middle finger to the mainstream?
The mainstream.
Yeah.
I might have been blackballed from Marvel thanks to Joe Q. Because I did call him out a couple times. Because the guy is a piece of shit all the way, and he's stolen my work. He's traced over my work and put it into his shitty books.
Really? I've
yeah.
actually heard a lot about that stuff.
Yeah, I had Joe Kubert when he was still alive. The dude he drew Sergeant Rock and all that shit. He's got his school in New Jersey. Met him. He loved my samples, and he's like, "Yeah, I'm going to give it to Joe," because at the time he was editor in chief, Joe Quesada, and yeah, we're going to get you some work. And didn't happen. Instead, the guy traced over my samples. He didn't think we'd ever, meet, or I guess I don't know how the fuck these people think, but we actually worked on something together when I was working for Diamond Select. I did a design of a hobgoblin statue. One of my other brothers is a sculptor, and he did the piece. And when it came time to for final approval and all that shit, he was told that when we designed these, they wanted one arm because they wanted a smaller box. There's certain stipulations that certain people wanted when you work for these kind of companies, but Marvel wanted they wanted it bigger. They wanted have them with both arms, not just a little bust of a statue. But so we changed the design, and then Quesada just scribbled a fucking arm in front of the character, basically on like it was a printout of the clay. It was he just printed it out on a fucking photocopier, and then he just took a pen and scribbled an arm, like an arm right there would be good.
Oh shit! And then he said that he did it.
Well, yeah, on the packaging, that's what they put. They said my brother's name at least, but then they go, designed by editor-in-chief Joe Quesada. And this was the whole fucking thing, too, is some douchebags who were trying to slander my name when I was first getting into Comicsgate. And they're like, yeah, he's lying. I'm like, I'm lying? And I pulled up all the fucking photos. I did a stream where I ripped the guy apart twice. That was it, the comic book hut, that fat fuck. Yeah, I ripped him to shreds and never heard from him again. But yeah, I was like, don't fucking tell me what my career was or what happened.
Right.
Again, like I had an encounter with the piece of shit too at after party at Toy Fair, and at the time I didn't know that he traced over my work. I found out right afterwards, and that's where the story kind of people keep taking parts of it and twisting it in their own bullshit. Literally, he had it was Sins of the Father or some shit, some crappy Daredevil book that he did, and they were giving it away at the door at the after party, signed copies, and nobody wanted it. They've been sitting there, so he when we walked in, we had the portfolio in our hands still. And like, you got time? Oh yeah. Of course he had time. Nobody was there. No one gave a shit. They didn't give a fuck about him. They wanted a drink. So he's standing there, he's flipping through, and then the book starts to tremble in his hand, the portfolio, because he starts to recognize
what the fuck he was looking at.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with this guy? Is he got to take his shit or something? Like I didn't know what was going on with him. He was acting weird and squirrely. He goes, oh yeah, I could give you a contact to to the submissions editor, and okay, I've already dealt with the submissions editor. Fucking what's his name? John Romita Jr. got me an interview with them prior to that because he loved our work, But again, it's a whole other story. Anyway, but so yeah, then he sees the piece. I'm like, yeah, we all worked together on something. And then he saw the Hobgoblin piece, and he really shit his pants. So I gotta get going. He closes the book. He runs, goes in the back, and then he disappears. He went down the service elevator. He didn't even go down the main elevator. And
fucking
the guys
coward.
The guys who were running the party, they go, where the fuck is Joe? What the hell? He was here for 10 minutes and he left? We didn't realize that. We didn't know that. He's like, he was a guest of honor. And then we heard them later in the night talking, and they go, because I don't believe that fat fuck. They paid him a certain amount of money, and then he demanded a limo that was fully stocked, and the douchebag only worked like or he lived only a couple of blocks away. He could have walked there.
if he would have gone on to do his guest of honor fucking services, would you have stand there and like called him out from like a
Oh my,
heckler's row kind of shit?
well, yeah, I've said this story a few times. Especially at the time, because I was a lot angrier and I had a lot more mass on me too. My brother and I would have beat the fuck out of him because all I had to do was turn around and pick up that book, and I would have saw that he traced over my work. It was like
The
on the
audacity,
first
man.
page. Yeah.
So was it due to these experiences, or was it like did you hope to pitch something like Through the Woods to Marvel, or were you like, no, these guys are assholes, there's
No.
no way they're getting
Li-
my intellectual property?
no. Literally, I was supposed to work on Spider-Man, the Marvel Knight Spider-Man with Mark Millar.
Okay.
There was an editor I was sending work to, one of the top editors, Ralph Macchio, and he says, "Stop sending samples." I thought I was pissing him off. He goes, "I want to put you on a book." I went, "Get the fuck out of town." And he told me the book, and he's like, he was getting the contract all situated. 2 weeks out before I had to go sign the contract, I got the phone call, and he goes, "I'm sorry, Vinny, I'm not going to bullshit you. Joe's putting his friend on the book instead." So yeah, at that moment, I knew, yeah, I was probably fucking blacklisted, blackballed.
Sure.
Yeah. I'm like,
So,
look at this shit.
but then you do have success doing your own shit. It looks marvelous. And
Thanks, man.
are you? Yeah. So you're making enough money to like sustain yourself and go out to the world.
Well,
And
I'm still doing freelance work and shit. Like I'm not making a living yet off of my own stuff. Like, yeah, the campaigns have done well, but the majority of what's been donated for these books are to print these books. I made it a point where my fifth one was Through the Woods, and I did it for the fans because everyone says, "Oh, you can't do a hardcover book unless you make six figures." Well, I proved that I could do it, and I crunched the numbers. We came damn close, and I went, "All right, if we hit this number, we're going to do a hardcover book." And at the time, I would still be eating my shirt a little bit, but at least we have a great product out there. And luckily, they still backed it, and I made a little bit of profit off of it, but not what people think.
Right, you're not able to buy a mansion and upstate, wherever, right?
A new Mustang.
Yeah, all that kind of shit. Well, so obviously supporting your campaigns is a good way to contribute. Do you get like royalties if we go out and buy your freelance shit?
Right now, I'm trying to think if there was some. Because in most cases it's just like it's covers and pinups and shit like that. But no, the best way to support me is by backing my books, because that money goes straight into my pocket.
That's cool, man.
Yeah.
Well, we're gonna go ahead and wind this down. I'd like to thank you for stopping by. I want to thank author Stephen Walton and all the fucking savages in the chat. We love you guys. Check out Vinny Art, and we will talk to you guys later. Peace.
Yeah, have a great